This is your host for this graphic novel reading called Gothic Magi. This is the title page of Gothic Magi. The character on the right is Gogloff, who is a explorer who met the girl on the left, Daria, while traveling on the Trans-Siberian Railroad. This is Gogloff working in his garage installing an engine. Gogloff switches the intake to a tri-power intake. Watson gets the mail out of the mailbox. Inside is a ticket to go see the magic show at the Majestic Theater. The ticket is a gift from Benjamin for purchasing the island that they have made a home on, Alcatraz Island. I am in the middle of installing an engine motor, Daria. I guess you have to go without me, Watson. Been sent 2 tickets for the Asylum Horse. So here Gogloff is reading the ticket, which he says that Daria can go with Watson, and he's going to stay and finish installing his car. Watson is the family doctor and friend. Here Watson and Daria are arriving at the Orpheus Theater to see a double billing with Frankenstein, and it's a magic show with Silkini. Here they are at the ticket booth buying the tickets. Silkini is doing his famous floating skull trick, levitation. The skull levitates from the stage and lands in Daria's hand. To complete the magic illusion, Silkini calls the skull back to where it rests on a plate. Then Silkini yells, "Don't let out Frankenstein." Igor opens the cage door. Watson and Daria find their seats and watch the show. Silkini levitates the tent. 2 belly dancers step out of the tent. Igor leads Frankenstein into the audience. Frankenstein brings Daria to the stage. During the struggle, Watson rips off the medallion from Igor's neck. Written is Falstead Island, Secret City. Frankenstein performs the Meistermesser illusion, or Master Knife illusion. Frankenstein abducts Daria down the stairway into the basement, where he meets a scientific woman who wants to do experiments. Meanwhile, Watson calls Gogloff from the theater, suspicious of what has happened to Daria. Gogloff, who has recently finished his installation of his motor, races to the theater in his Torpedo Phantom at top speed. Once he arrives, he questions Silkini. Silkini says he just recently hired the men, which he believes they were under a false alias. One of his helpers on the stage says that one of the men had talked about going to the magician, a palm reader. Gogloff and Watson go to and get a reading of bring the coin or medallion. The medallion, whose owner is Roebuck, whose ancient ancestor used to travel the globe and settled Falstead Island. Roebuck moved to the United States and opened his own company with Sears selling pharmaceuticals. This is the label of one of his stomach medicines. Gogloff gets a natal reading while with the magician. Afterwards, Gogloff and Watson arrive at the Roebuck Company that's based in Chicago. Inside, Gogloff buys some stomach medicine. The cashier says that Roebuck decided to go back to Falstead Island. Gogloff decides to follow him and gasses up at the gas station and then drives to a port where he can get a ship that will lead him to Falstead Island. On the ship, they are on the deck right now, Daria and Gog. After they arrive at port, they travel to the castle of Falstead, shown here. In his belt, this is an explanation of his belt, which is part of alien technology that he found while on an expedition to Mongolia. The Röntgen girdle, X-ray belt, traps dark energy, and when the dark energy collides, creates gamma radiation. The gamma radiation is reflected inside through prisms, which comes out of the ruby skull, which is similar to being able to take an X-ray that reflects to his gradient coil glasses. Looking at the door, he can see the bolt. Then he looks at Daria to see if she has the knife. The knife he uses to slide it between the door and lift the bolt. Meanwhile, inside, Daria is held captive by one of the henchmen. Because of ill treatment, she throws her ruby earrings, which transform in the drink into an acid, which she throws in his face. The woman, who is a scientist, angry, commands Roebuck to kill her. Meanwhile, Gogloff and Watson enter the hall looking for Roebuck, the Hall of Shields. Gogloff asks Roebuck why he kidnapped Daria. He says that he watched them while they were traveling through St. Peter's. He looked through the holes in the painting, and then when they weren't looking, took photographs of the ancient Mayan technology left by aliens. This is Lola Wolfstein in the basement who wants to use Daria's blood, which has alien blood mixed with her blood, which she is experimenting on. Part of the torture, they inject her with armobarbiturate, a psychoactive. Daria hallucinates that a snake is crawling on her. Then the snake transforms into the face of her captive. Upstairs, Robot explains that to get downstairs you have to figure out the clock code, which is based on the Mayan cycle that of 9 cycles that counts down to 0, which time moves 20 times faster every cycle. Downstairs, Daria is on a table. When the candle burns through the rope, the cobra, venomous, will drop on her. Upstairs in the hall, Gogloff and Robok sword fight. Gogloff's sword hits his eye, cutting it out. Meanwhile, Watson figures out the code is 920, which he has to move the clock face to those numbers, which opens a secret passage. Gogloff removes Daria from the table, which he carries her back out of the castle. Conquest of Frankenstein will be the next issue.